Hello folks, I'm Upfielder and this is Stargate Atlantis. Now for those of you that don't want to hear an intro, the timestamp to the tutorial is in the description below and the video is split into chapters, so just jump on ahead. First off though, if you're one of those channels that does nothing but silent tutorials on other people's creations, think Shulker Crap or Kelp MC, and you're watching this, then I have a message for you. Naff off and do something different for a change, like design your own farms or contraptions. The chance would be a fine thing. Back to Atlantis then. This is the mega base I am constructing on Appcraft, the completely free to play on server you can join, link in the description. This thing is big, and even with the help of my fellow players, I've been building and draining this thing for nearly 80 hours now, and that's right, 80 hours, using a combination of machines, and I'll put a link to some of those in the description below, and then gridding and manual sponge placement. But because it's a very odd shape, what I'm finding is the existing machines, they'll work for some parts and not others, and the other ones are a bit too slow. I needed something a little bit different, so I have come up with a brand new design. Let's check it out. Here we go then. This bad boy can be made to suit gaps that are 4 or 5 blocks wide. I'll show you how to build both. The design showcased here is 5 blocks wide and it's tileable. Just alternate between slime and honey blocks and you can build this thing as long as your simulation distance. The area in this showcase is over 200 blocks long, and if I were to partition it up and drain it manually, it would have taken me over 2 hours, probably over 3 hours. Building this machine with Lightmatica, running it, and taking it down took me 35 minutes, a huge reduction in the time. Now, it does have the downside that it requires a lot of blocks, but then if you're building something that needs this much draining, the odds are you've got your slime, honey, wood, barter, and cobblestone farms. You're going to need all of those, by the way. And then you just flick the lever and away you go. This thing runs in sequence and it just very, very quickly drains the water. And then all you need to do is run along, take it apart. Now, with the way that Atlantis is built, there are movable blocks at the bottom. This thing isn't at the push limit, so I've got some furnaces there. Just run along with your sponges and then just take out that bottom layer of water. You can actually take the furnaces out first and it'd be much, much quicker to drain than how I did it in the showcase. Machine then, these smooth stone blocks you do not need. They are just as a guide to help you with the tutorial. For each module with the 5 wide machine, you are going to need 6 solid blocks. Dealer's choice, doesn't matter what. 5 honey or slime blocks, and you alternate with each module. 3 observers and 2 sticky pistons. So let's build the machine then. We're going to do the trigger mechanism first, which is at the top. If we put the top in at the end, then it triggers the machine as you're building it, and that is bad. This is just a guideline, remember, so it helps you build it. Don't need to place these blocks in yourself. We're going to count up 6 blocks, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6, and we want to be dead center over the water. And then we're going to place in our first observer, and we want to place in observers going the entire length of the body of water. So this, I think, is 10 long, and it wants to be over the water. You don't need to go over this moss block here. Once you've done that, come back to the start, and then I'm going to place a lever on here, which I'll use to trigger it. You could use a button or a block or anything that triggers the observers. Make sure you do that at the start. With the trigger mechanism in place, we can build our module starting in the bottom left-hand corner, 2 solid blocks, then a honey block, and then a observer facing upwards with the red dot facing towards the sky, and then a solid block of your choice. Now, I am just going to remove these temporary blocks here. Otherwise, as you see, I triggered the observer, and that's going to cause a problem in a little bit. Coming on to the second layer then, placing a solid block, 2 honey blocks and a sticky piston this time facing to the sky, and a solid block next to that. Don't worry, I'll show you this at the end. On the right hand side, come up 1 more layer with a solid block, and this time you want a honey block here and you want a sticky piston facing down towards the floor, placed like that. Then we want an observer with the red dot facing towards the ground this time into that sticky piston, and lastly we want a honey block right there, and that is how your module will look. Remember, those smooth stone blocks are temporary. In fact, we're going to go and remove those now, and I'll give you one more look at this so you can pause the video whenever you need. There we go. That is exactly how it looks. Pause the video there and build your first module, and it's super simple to build your next module. You just do observer, sticky piston, and then do up and sticky piston. Now, where we have honey blocks for this second module, we want slime blocks. Everywhere exactly the same, and then we can just do our solid blocks like so. And boom, there we have it. That's exactly how it looks. So just alternate that all the way along. So I've gone ahead and built the entire thing. It's completely identical the entire way down. I just alternate between honey and slime. And like I say, you can build it as long as your simulation distance. Now, with the Atlantis build, the floor is movable and each module is not at the push limit. So at the bottom here, I placed some furnaces and that just stops these machines from going any further. You can use furnaces, obsidian, or any other immovable block. Furnaces are pretty easy to remove, so that's why I've used them. If your floor can't be moved, like this is a completely solid floor, you don't actually need these. So just keep that in mind. But once you're done, all you need to do is flick the lever and then boom, that's going to go all the way across. Trigger all these modules and they're going to go all the way down to those furnaces, and then you just need to come across and remove all these blocks like so. And then like I say, you're going to have a little bit of water down at the bottom here, and you can just run along with your sponges and very quickly remove it. And that is how you build the 5 wide water removal machine. So with the 5 wide tutorial done, I'm going to show you how to convert the 5 wide machine into a 4 wide machine. Now, first things first, I'm going to go down here and place in some blocks so we can pretend this was 4 long all the way across. So looking from this direction, all we need to do is remove 3 blocks. So these 2 and then that one there as well. If you don't remove this one and you've got solid blocks, it's going to break the machine. So just remove those all the way down, and it's exactly the same as the 5 machine. You just alternate all the way down, but instead it looks exactly like that. Nice and easy, and you just trigger it exactly the same as you did the other machine. Again, place furnaces if you have got a movable floor at the bottom. Other than that, identical. So there you go, just pause, and that's how you build it. Just alternate with your slime and honey blocks. If you're wondering, can I build this 3 wide or even 2 wide? Then yes, you can, but you cannot use normal solid blocks down the side. In that case, you would need to use moss blocks or leaf blocks, something that doesn't stick to these honey or slime blocks. And that, my friends, is the tutorial done. Hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, give it a like, consider subscribing to the channel. I stream that Atlantis build that you saw earlier in the video every Monday night right here from YouTube. If you need the Lightmatics, they're going to be available on my website, appfielder.com. Link will be in the description below. Just want to say a big thank you to my patrons. They help keep the channel running. They help keep the Appcraft server completely free to play on. But anyway, folks, that's all I have time for. I'm Appfielder. Goodbye.